I hit the floor, and for 60 seconds I couldn't get up. What I felt in that minute, that's what today's video is really about. I want to tell you about the day I fell in my own bathroom, not because it's a dramatic story. It isn't, not really, but because of what happened in the 60 seconds after I hit the floor, when nobody was watching and I had to decide something about myself that I'm still living with. I'm sharing this not because I want you to feel sorry for me, but because what happened on that cold floor is the exact same quiet battle so many of us start fighting after 50. If you're over 50, chances are you already have a story like this, or you're bracing for the day you will. I was getting into the shower. One second I was standing, the next second I wasn't. I slipped, went backward, and landed hard on the floor. My leg scraped on the way down. That hurt, but it was the kind of pain I understood right away. The kind that just says, ouch, and moves on. It was my right side that scared me. 5 years ago, I fractured my elbow, and when I landed, I came down right on that same side, shoulder, elbow, wrist, all at once. For one full second, before the pain even caught up to me, my mind went straight there. Not again. Then I was just lying there, stunned, half in the shower, half out in a bathroom too small to really move in. I want to be honest about what that minute actually looked like, because I don't think we talk about this part enough. I tried to push up with my right hand. Nope, not happening. I tried to roll to my left side to get some leverage. Couldn't do it. There was nothing to grab onto. I tried my elbow. I tried some other angle I can't even explain. Every option came back the same answer. No. Somewhere in there, underneath the pain, a different feeling showed up. Not fear exactly, more like disbelief. Why can't I do this? This should be simple. We don't think of getting up off a bathroom floor as a skill, until, for a minute, it is one, and you don't have it. I was alone. No one to call out to, just me, the tile, and a quiet, ugly little question that crept in. Is this what I am now? I want us to sit with that question together, because I think a lot of us hit some version of it after 50. And here's something worth knowing. This isn't just an emotional reaction. There's an actual name for it in psychology. Post-fall syndrome, sometimes called fear of falling. It's well documented in people over 50, and it isn't really about the fall itself. It's about what the fall does to your sense of trust in your own body. Once that trust cracks, even a little, it can quietly change how we move through the world. We get more cautious, we shrink our own lives a bit, sometimes without even noticing we're doing it. In psychology, we look at how this creates a negative feedback loop. You fall, so you become afraid. Because you are afraid, you move less. Because you move less, your muscles weaken and your balance degrades. And because your balance degrades, your actual risk of falling goes up. The fear of the thing ends up manufacturing the very thing we are trying to avoid. But on that floor, I didn't know all the data yet. I just knew I was cold, wet, and embarrassed, even though no one was there. I got frustrated and upset instead, not at anyone. Just at the idea. I'm tougher than that. And I pushed up through my right hand, pain and all, and got myself onto my feet. The shower was still running this whole time, by the way, so I got in, one-armed, favoring my right side, thinking, I'm not letting this stop me. I'll deal with the rest later, which, I'll be honest, is not always the wisest decision I've ever made, but it was mine, and in that moment, it mattered more than the pain did. The week after was its own kind of lesson. I couldn't lift my right arm. Getting dressed became a project. Cooking, drinking a cup of coffee. All the small automatic things you never think about. Every one of them had to be relearned one-handed. I couldn't drive for a few days. I went in for x-rays, half expecting the worst, and got good news. Nothing broken, just a body that had taken a hard hit and needed time. And I'm going to tell you something I don't love admitting. I'm still not fully healed. Weeks later, there's still a daily reminder in that shoulder and that wrist. A stiffness, a twinge when I reach a certain way. I push through it because that's who I am. But I've learned something in the process. Getting back to normal isn't really what happens. Not after 50. What actually happens is you get back to a new normal. one that's close to what you had, but not quite identical to it. And I think that's one of the hardest, quietest truths of this stage of life. We keep waiting to fully return to who we were, and the honest answer is, we don't. Not exactly. We heal, we adapt, we build a slightly different version of ourselves around what's left. That's not defeat. That's just what living in a body long enough looks like. My daughter, when I told her about it, said, "You need handles in the shower now." I laughed, because I had thought the exact same thing before she said it. There's a strange comfort in that, in the humor that shows up right alongside the fear, in a family that can tease you about grab bars one day and mean it completely the next. Now, I want to step back from my own story for a minute, because this isn't really about me. It's about all of us. If something like this has happened to you, a fall, a diagnosis, a morning your body simply said, "Not today," you are not alone, and you're not broken. Physically, our bodies after 50 genuinely do change in ways that affect balance, reflexes, and healing time. Reaction time slows a little. Bones take longer to knit. Muscles that used to catch us automatically sometimes catch us a half second too late. That is not a personal failing. That is biology. And it happens to every single one of us if we live long enough. There is no shame in it. There is only the choice of what we do with it. Emotionally, it can hit even harder than the physical part. Psychologists talk about something called self-efficacy, a concept pioneered by psychologist Albert Bandura. It is basically how much we trust our own ability to handle what life throws at us. When you have high self-efficacy, you look at a challenge and think, "I can figure this out." When your self-efficacy takes a hit, you look at a challenge and think, "I am helpless." A fall, an injury, a health scare can shake that trust badly, especially if it happens more than once. And when that trust wobbles, it's common to feel a kind of grief that's hard to name, because nothing was technically lost. But something was lost. A sense of certainty about your own body that you probably never even noticed you were relying on, until it wasn't there anymore. That grief is real. It deserves to be felt, not brushed aside with, "At least nothing's broken." You're allowed to be shaken by something even when the X-ray comes back clean. So what do we actually do with all this? How do we stop our world from shrinking? A few things I've learned from living it and from paying attention to the psychology behind it. First, let yourself feel the fear without letting it make all your decisions. Fear after a fall is normal and even useful. It's what makes us check the floor now, buy the bath mat, ask for the handrail. That's wisdom, not weakness. The problem starts when fear quietly convinces us to stop doing things we still could do. When caution turns into isolation, notice the difference. And don't let fear shrink your life more than the situation actually requires. Second, talk about it. Tell your children, your friends, your doctor, not just the facts, but how it actually felt. Isolation makes fear bigger. Being known makes it smaller. I told my daughter about the fall, jokes and all, and it helped more than I expected it to. Third, give yourself permission for slow healing to still count as healing. You don't have to be back to normal by some invisible deadline. A week of favoring one arm, a month of stiffness, a season of moving a little more carefully. None of that is failure. It's just the pace your body has chosen, and your job is to respect it, not outrun it. And last, hold on to whatever stubbornness, humor, or grit got you through it. Mine showed up as frustration on that bathroom floor. I am tougher than that. Yours might look different, but that spark, whatever form it takes in you, is worth protecting. It's what gets us back on our feet, literally and otherwise. There's one more piece of this I think matters, and it's easy to overlook. Psychologists sometimes talk about post-traumatic growth, the idea that a hard experience, once we move through it rather than around it, can actually leave us a little wiser and steadier than we were before. Not because the fall itself was good, it wasn't, but because surviving that minute on the floor, figuring out how to get myself up with one working arm, taught me something about my own capacity that I didn't know I still had. I didn't know that until I was tested. Most of us don't. That's not a silver lining I'm handing you to make the hard part feel better. It's just something real that tends to happen if we let it. on the other side of these moments, I also think we underestimate how much good it does simply to lower the bar for ourselves during recovery. We are so used to pushing, producing, showing up for everyone else, that resting while we heal can feel like failure. It isn't. Your body is doing real work when it heals. Knitting tissue, calming inflammation, rebuilding strength in muscles that got frightened along with the rest of you. That takes energy, whether you can see it happening or not. Giving yourself permission to move slower for a while isn't giving up. It's cooperating with your own body instead of fighting it. And if you're the kind of person, like me, who has spent decades being the strong one, the one everyone else leans on, this might be the harder lesson of the two. It is allowed to be you who needs a little help this time. Asking for it isn't weakness. It's actually one of the clearest signs of self-awareness there is. I am still independent. That didn't change on that bathroom floor. If anything, it got tested, and it held. I am still the person who gets back up, even if it takes longer now, even if I have to find a new way to do it. A little more stubborn than graceful about it maybe, more of an old horse than a young one, still pulling the wagon, just watching the ground a little closer than I used to, still carrying a daily ache that reminds me I'm healing, not finished. If you're carrying your own version of this, your own bathroom floor, your own quiet question of, is this what I am now? I want you to hear this clearly. You are still here. You are still capable. And whatever new normal you're building, you are not building it alone. There's one last thing I want to say before we leave this space today. If navigating a physical setback or a fall has given you something unexpected, a bit of stubbornness, a new perspective, or a strength you didn't see coming, please share it in the comments. Someone else reading this needs to hear that we can rebuild our confidence in this season too. Not just adapt to the limitations, but grow. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, and let's keep taking the next step together. When life gives us lemons, we finally know what to do with them.